The vast, cold expanse of space stretched endlessly around Yunji's damaged research vessel. Metallic creaks echoed through the empty corridors as the ship's life support systems gradually failed. Her breath came in short, ragged gasps, each exhale forming tiny crystals of moisture that hung suspended in the zero-gravity environment. 3 standard days had passed since the asteroid collision. What had begun as a routine planetary survey mission had turned into a nightmare of isolation and impending doom. The ship's navigation systems were completely destroyed, its communication arrays shattered beyond repair. Yunji knew the mathematics of her survival better than most. Her chances were less than 0.3%. She remembered the moment of impact. A massive asteroid, invisible on the long-range scanners, had struck with devastating precision. The ship's protective shields had collapsed instantly, leaving her vulnerable to the merciless vacuum of space. Her entire research team, colleagues she had worked with for years, were gone in an instant. Their bodies, like her hopes, had been scattered across the endless darkness. Yunji's fingers traced the deep scratches on her damaged control panel. Emergency protocols had long since been exhausted. The oxygen recycling system was failing, producing less breathable air with each passing hour. Her water reserves were critically low and the emergency food supplies had been consumed days ago. She pulled herself closer to the small observation window, watching the distant stars. They seemed to mock her, beautiful, distant, completely indifferent to her impending death. Her civilization would never know what happened to her. No rescue mission would come. No one even knew she was out here. The ship's internal temperature continued to drop. Frost began to form on the metal surfaces, creating delicate patterns that would never be seen by anyone. Yunji's body was growing weaker, her movements slower. She had accepted her fate hours ago, but something inside her refused to completely surrender. Her research tablet lay nearby, its screen cracked but still partially functional. She thought about the years of work, the countless hours of study, the discoveries that would now be lost forever. Her fingers weakly touched the device, hoping against hope that somehow, something might be saved. A sudden flicker caught her eye. The damaged communication panel, which had been silent for days, suddenly showed a strange energy signature. It was barely a blip, almost nothing. But it was something. Yunji didn't dare hope. Hope was a luxury she could no longer afford. Her training had taught her to be rational, to accept the inevitable. Yet that tiny signal continued to pulse, a faint reminder that the universe might not be completely empty. Her body was shutting down. The cold was becoming a comfort now, slowly numbing her senses. She thought about her family back home, about the research station where she had spent most of her adult life. Would anyone remember her? Would anyone know what happened in this forgotten corner of space? The ship continued its silent drift. Broken panels sparked occasionally, creating brief moments of light that disappeared as quickly as they came. Outside, nothing moved. No rescue, no hope. But that signal remained. Weak, persistent, unexpected. Yunji closed her eyes, her breath becoming shallow. The mathematics of survival were clear. She had calculated everything. There was no chance, no possibility of rescue, no way anyone could find her in this vast, dark region of space. And yet, something was approaching. Something was coming. Her final thought was not of fear, but of a strange, unexplainable curiosity. What could possibly exist out here, in this impossible darkness? The ship drifted, the stars watched, the signal continued to pulse. Silence filled everything. The USS Horizon cut through the darkness of space like a knife, its sleek hull reflecting pinpricks of distant starlight. Captain Jae-Sung Park stood at the main command bridge, his eyes fixed on the holographic display that showed the surrounding space sector. Something was different today. Something felt unusual. Junior Navigation Officer Kim Min-ho was the first to notice the anomaly. A faint signal, barely visible, flickered on the long-range scanners. Most crews would have ignored it. A simple piece of space debris, perhaps a fragment of an old satellite or asteroid remnant. But not this crew. "Captain," Minho called out, his voice steady but with a hint of excitement. "I'm detecting an unusual energy signature about zero point 0.3 light-years from our current position." Jae-sung approached the console, his experienced eyes scanning the data. The signal was weak but consistent. It didn't match any known space debris or standard communication frequencies. It was something else entirely. "Prepare long-range scanning protocols," he commanded. The bridge crew moved with practiced efficiency, each member understanding their role without need for further instruction. The ship's advanced scanning systems began to map the distant signal. Layers of data began to compile, fragments of information, that slowly formed a more complete picture. It wasn't just debris, it was a ship, a damaged research vessel nearly invisible against the darkness of space. "Life signs?" Jae-sung asked. Minho's fingers danced across the control panel. "Minimal, but something is alive in there." The decision was immediate, no discussion needed. The Horizon would investigate and potentially conduct a rescue. This was more than a mission. It was a fundamental principle of space exploration. Rescue. Protocols were initiated. The ship's medical team prepared specialized equipment for potential alien biological interaction. Dr. Sung-Ho Kim, the chief medical officer, checked his emergency intervention kits. Years of training had prepared him for unexpected encounters. As they approached the damaged vessel, the true extent of its destruction became clear. The ship looked like it had been torn apart by a massive impact. Normal protocols would suggest, leaving it, no chance of survival. But something about this signal suggested otherwise. "Preparing emergency extraction procedures," announced Lieutenant Park Ji-eun, the ship's rescue specialist. Her hands moved quickly, configuring specialized rescue drones that could penetrate the damaged ship's hull. The rescue was delicate. One wrong move could destroy what little remained of the unknown vessel. The Horizon's technological systems worked in perfect harmony, scanning, analyzing, preparing intervention strategies in microseconds. Jae-sung watched the holographic display, his expression revealing nothing. But inside he felt something rare in deep space exploration, genuine curiosity. The first drone entered the damaged ship. Its advanced sensors began transmitting data, temperature readings, oxygen levels, structural integrity. And then, something unexpected. A life sign. Weak, almost gone, but definitely alive. "We have a survivor," Minho reported, his voice breaking slightly. The bridge fell silent. A survivor in this level of destruction seemed impossible, yet the data was clear. Dr. Sung-Ho prepared the medical bay. Specialized containment units were activated. Interdimensional medical protocols were set. They were about to potentially make first contact with an unknown species. The rescue drone continued its careful approach. Each movement was calculated, precise. Decades of space exploration technology focused on this single moment of potential salvation. Something moved inside the damaged ship. A figure, barely conscious, holding on to the last threads of life. "Preparing extraction," Jae-sung announced. The universe held its breath. A rescue was about to happen. A life was about to be saved, and nothing would ever be the same again. The signal continued to pulse. Weak, persistent, a beacon of hope in the endless darkness of space. The horizon moved closer. Rescue was imminent. The medical bay of the USS Horizon hummed with soft, controlled energy. Bright white lights illuminated a carefully prepared containment area where the rescued alien slowly regained consciousness. Dr. Sung-Ho Kim watched carefully, his hands hovering near specialized medical interfaces designed for unknown biological systems. Yoonji's eyes flickered open. Everything was different. The environment felt strange, controlled, clean, unlike her damaged research vessel. Strange sounds surrounded her, mechanical yet somehow gentle. Her body felt different, stabilized, supported. A human stood nearby, tall, wearing a white medical uniform. His eyes showed something she had never seen before in any species: Genuine concern, not scientific curiosity, not strategic assessment. Pure concern for her survival. "You are safe," the human said simply. His voice was calm, clear, each word carefully pronounced. Though she didn't understand his exact language, the meaning translated perfectly through advanced communication systems integrated into the medical bay. Dr. Sung-ho began running diagnostic scans. His movements were precise but gentle. He adjusted medical equipment that seemed to adapt to her unique biological requirements. Most species would have complicated first contact procedures. Humans seemed focused on one thing, ensuring her survival. Yoonji tried to move. Her body felt weak but supported. Strange medical devices surrounded her, monitoring systems that seemed to anticipate her biological needs before she even recognized them herself. "Water," she managed to whisper. A specialized container appeared instantly. The liquid inside was perfectly calibrated to her specific metabolic requirements. How could they know? How could they prepare so quickly? The medical bay itself was a marvel. Surfaces that changed temperature, atmospheric conditions that adjusted microsecond by microsecond, technology that seemed to breathe with living intelligence. "Doctor," Sung-ho spoke softly, "you are on a human vessel, USS Horizon. We found your ship. You are safe now." Each word carried weight, each sentence a promise. Yoonji studied the human. His face showed no hidden agenda, no scientific detachment, just pure, fundamental concern for her well-being. This was unprecedented in her understanding of interstellar interactions. Her own civilization would have conducted extensive biological screenings, quarantine procedures, risk assessments. These humans seemed to operate on a different principle entirely. Rescue first. Ask questions later. The medical systems continued their silent work. Repairing, supporting, healing. Outside the medical bay, Captain Jae-sung Park watched the initial contact through protected monitoring systems. His crew waited. Curious but disciplined. Ready to support. Ready to help. Yoonji's mind raced with questions. How did they find her? Why did they rescue her? What did they want? But those questions could wait. Right now, she was alive. And these humans, these strange, unexpected beings had saved her. The medical bay continued its silent, precise work. Technology and compassion working in perfect harmony. A rescue complete. A first contact initiated. A new chapter of understanding about to begin. Sung-ho adjusted a medical interface, smiled slightly. "Rest now," he said. And for the first time in days, Yoonji felt something she had almost forgotten. Hope. The conference room aboard the USS Horizon felt different from any meeting space Yoonji had experienced before. Humans moved with a unique energy. Collaborative, dynamic, focused. Captain Jae-sung Park sat at the center, his expression calm but intense. Yoonji explained the quantum cascade threat to her civilization, a dangerous energy wave that would destroy multiple star systems within months. Her people had studied it for years but found no solution. The humans listened, not with scientific detachment, but with genuine concern. "Show us everything," Jae-sung said simply. Within hours, the human team had analyzed the complex data. Where her civilization's best scientists had failed for decades, these humans saw possibilities. They didn't just look at the problem, they reimagined it completely. Dr. Park Ji-eun, the ship's lead quantum physicist, began sketching alternative intervention strategies. Her hands moved quickly across holographic displays, breaking down complex mathematical models into simple, actionable steps. She saw solutions where others saw only impossible challenges. The human technology was different. Adaptive, flexible. Where her civilization used rigid scientific protocols, these humans treated technology like a living, breathing system that could be constantly reshaped. Min Ho, the navigation officer, developed a revolutionary tracking model that could predict the quantum cascade's expansion. His approach was not just mathematical, It was almost intuitive. He seemed to understand the energy wave's behavior like someone reading a familiar language. Sung-ho, the medical doctor, contributed unexpected insights. He connected biological adaptation principles with quantum energy dynamics. A connection no one in Yoonji's civilization had ever considered. They worked together, not as separate species, not as strangers, but as a unified team with a single mission. Hours turned into days. The conference room became their world. Star charts, mathematical models, energy simulation graphs covered every surface. Coffee mugs appeared and disappeared. No one seemed to sleep. Yoonji watched in amazement. Her people would have created separate research teams, competitive environments, strict hierarchical structures. These humans moved like a single organism, each person understanding their role, supporting each other's ideas. On the third day, something remarkable happened. They found a solution. A method to not just stop the quantum cascade, but to transform its destructive energy into something constructive. It was elegant, simple, brilliant. "We can save your people," Jae-sung said. Not a question, a statement. The solution required unprecedented cooperation, advanced human technological systems, Yoonji's deep quantum understanding, precise navigation, calculations, medical intervention protocols. Every human on the team contributed. The junior navigation officer, the medical specialist, the quantum physicist, the captain. Each brought something unique. Yoonji realized something profound. This wasn't just about saving her civilization. This was about something larger. A fundamental approach to problem solving that transcended species, technology, and individual limitations. They didn't just see a problem to be solved. They saw an opportunity to create something new. As the final simulation ran, showing the potential success of their intervention, something unexpected happened. The humans didn't celebrate with grand speeches or formal announcements. They simply looked at each other, smiled, understood. Mission accomplished, civilization saved. A new understanding born. Captain Jae-sung looked at Yoonji. No words were needed. The mission had changed them all. Humanity had just redefined what was possible. The quantum stabilizers hummed with a soft, powerful energy. Millions of lives hung in the balance. A delicate thread of hope stretched across the vast darkness of space. Yoonji watched the holographic displays, her breath caught between anticipation and disbelief. Captain Jae-sung's hands moved carefully across the control panel. Each movement was precise, calculated. Years of training focused on this single moment. The human crew worked like a single organism, their movements synchronized beyond normal understanding. Somewhere, in the distant reaches of her home civilization, entire star systems waited. Billions of beings, most of whom would never know how close they had come to total destruction. Most would never understand the unlikely alliance that had saved them. The final quantum pulse approached. Mathematical models predicted complete system collapse. But the humans had found something extraordinary, a way to transform destructive energy into a regenerative force. "Initiating final sequence," Minho announced, his voice steady. Seconds stretched into an eternity. The energy wave approached, massive, destructive, unstoppable, or so everyone had thought. Human technology merged with Yoonji's scientific understanding. Two completely different approaches to problem solving became one. Where her civilization saw limitations, the humans saw opportunities. Where her people calculated risks, the humans reimagined possibilities. A brilliant flash of light erupted across multiple star systems, then silence, then hope. The quantum cascade, the threat that had terrified her civilization for generations, simply dissolved, transformed, redirected. Saved, Yoonji looked at the human crew. They didn't celebrate with loud cheers or dramatic gestures. They simply looked at each other, understood, nodded. Mission accomplished. Dr. Sung-ho approached her, a simple smile on his face. "Your people are safe," he said. Those 4 words carried more weight than entire libraries of scientific documentation. Her final transmission to her homeworld would change everything. Not just the technical details of their rescue, but something far more profound. "They did not know us," she would record, "yet they saved us." The humans had risked everything for a species they had never met. No strategic advantage, no potential gain, simply because it was the right thing to do. Captain Jae-sung understood something fundamental about exploration. It wasn't about discovering new worlds. It was about understanding new perspectives, about recognizing life in all its complex, unexpected forms. As the USS Horizon prepared to escort Yoonji back to her home territories, something remarkable happened. Her civilization's leadership requested direct communication with the human crew, not for scientific exchange, not for diplomatic protocols, but to understand, to learn, to know why someone would save strangers without expecting anything in return. Yoonji became more than a survivor. She became a bridge, a connection between two completely different ways of understanding existence. The quantum intervention would be studied for generations. But the real discovery was something that couldn't be measured by scientific instruments, the discovery of compassion, of hope, of unexpected friendship. As the ship's engines prepared for the long journey home, Yoonji looked out into the vast darkness. Space seemed different now, no longer empty, no longer threatening, filled with possibility, with potential, with understanding. The humans had saved more than her life. They had transformed her entire perception of what was possible, and in doing so, they had changed everything. One rescue, one moment, one unexpected connection. Humanity's greatest strength was not its technology, it was its heart.